Have you ever looked at someone who seems financially average on the outside? Regular car, normal clothes, no flashy lifestyle, and then found out they're worth millions of dollars. Meanwhile, someone else is driving a luxury SUV, wearing designer brands, posting vacations every month, and secretly living paycheck to paycheck. Like, how does that happen? Because most people think wealth is something you see, but real wealth usually works in the opposite direction. There's one strange habit millionaires share, a habit that looks boring, but mathematically, it changes everything. And psychologically, it's one of the hardest things for normal people to do. So what is the strange habit most millionaires share? They delay visible rewards. They consistently choose future freedom over present appearances. Now look, I know that doesn't sound exciting. It's not wake up at 4 a.m. It's not start 7 businesses. It's not some productivity hack. It's choosing to not look rich today so they can be rich later. Most people do the opposite. They choose visible rewards now and invisible stress later. Car payments, credit card debt, furniture financing, luxury vacations they can't afford, upgrading apartments because friends did, buying status instead of buying assets. Millionaires, especially self-made ones, often train themselves to reverse that instinct. And that one mental reversal creates massive long-term results. Most people believe millionaires are big spenders. That's largely false. Why? Behavior. Not income alone. Income matters. But behavior determines what survives. Let's make this clear. Person A earns $80,000 a year. Person B earns $140,000 a year. Most people assume Person B automatically wins. But Person A saves and invests $1,500 a month. Person B upgrades lifestyle every raise and saves only $300 a month. Assume both earn 8% average annual market returns over time. After 25 years, Person A investing $1,500 per month could have around $1.4 million plus. Person B investing $300 per month could have around $280,000. Same world, different habit. That's the difference between looking rich and becoming rich. Why this habit feels so hard. This is about resisting a psychological trap called social comparison. Humans don't judge success in isolation. We judge it relative to others. You don't just want a car. You want a car better than your peers. You don't just want a house. You want proof you're progressing. That's why marketing sells identity, not products. A watch becomes status. A car becomes respect. A vacation becomes relevance. A designer bag becomes success. So when millionaires delay visible rewards, they're not just resisting spending. They're resisting one of the strongest human instincts, the desire to signal status. That's why it's rare. Here's what most people don't realize. Every expensive recurring payment steals future options. A $700 car payment isn't just $700. It's less ability to invest, less flexibility to quit a bad job, less room during emergencies, more dependence on next month's paycheck. That payment becomes invisible handcuffs. Now compare that to investing $700 per month at 8% for 30 years. That could become over $950,000. Same $700. One becomes a depreciating symbol. The other becomes freedom. That's why millionaires often ask a different question. Instead of, "Can I afford the payment?" they ask, "What is this costing my future?" That question alone can change your life. The real millionaire habit isn't just delaying rewards. It's protecting cash flow. Cash flow is oxygen. Quietly wealthy people often build lives with low fixed expenses relative to income. That creates margin. Margin creates options. Options create wealth. Why some high earners still lose. Look, a lot of people think making more money solves everything. Sometimes it does, but often it simply magnifies habits. If you overspend at $50,000 income, you may overspend at $150,000 income with nicer mistakes. Instead of fast food, it becomes restaurants. Instead of used cars, luxury leases. Instead of small subscriptions, premium everything. Same pattern. New packaging. That's why some doctors, lawyers, business owners, and influencers still feel broke. Income rose. Behavior didn't. What millionaires often buy instead. Now, they're not anti-spending. That's another myth. Many wealthy people eventually buy great homes, travel, nice things. But often after assets are producing income, they buy luxuries from returns, not from desperation. That's a huge difference. Example. Person A buys a $60,000 car from salary and monthly payments. Person B builds a $750,000 portfolio generating income and then buys a car comfortably. Same purchase, different foundation. One creates pressure, one creates ease. 3 immediate actions you can take. Audit your status expenses. Ask yourself, what do I own mostly so others see it? Be honest. That answer may include car upgrade, brand name clothing, fancy apartment beyond needs, gadgets you barely use, expensive habits tied to image. Cutting one of these can unlock thousands per year. 2. Automate invisible wealth. Set up automatic transfers the day you get paid. Real estate, index funds, emergency fund, debt payoff. Make wealth happen before lifestyle does. 3. Delay every major upgrade by 30 days. Want something expensive? Wait 30 days. Most impulse desires fade. The ones that remain may actually matter. That single pause can save tens of thousands over a lifetime. The emotional side nobody talks about. There's another reason this habit matters. Peace. When your bills are low and assets are growing, your nervous system changes. You're calmer. You negotiate better. You think longer term. You tolerate bad jobs less. You stop panicking at emergencies. Money doesn't just buy stuff. It buys breathing room. And breathing room changes how you live. Final story. Picture 2 people at age 30. One looks rich. The other is quietly investing. At 40, the first is tired, maintaining appearances, juggling payments. The second has options. At 50, the first says, "Where did all my money go?" The second says, "My investments cover half my expenses." At 60, the gap becomes dramatic. Not because one was smarter, because one mastered delayed visible rewards. Final motivation plus call to action. Look, nobody claps when you skip the flashy purchase. Nobody celebrates your automatic investments. Nobody notices your practical car. Nobody praises your emergency fund. That's why so few people do it. But years later, everyone notices freedom. Everyone notices confidence. Everyone notices the person who can walk away, choose differently, live calmly, and help others. That's real wealth. So if you remember one thing from this video, remember this. Stop trying to look successful. Start trying to become free. I'll see you in the next one.